Hello again. I'm going to be talking about recovery in this video. Yeah, that's it. I don't have an official intro or anything. Recovery. I'm going to be talking about recovery. I'm going to be talking about how I struggle with recovery and how that relates to really my struggle with change. I think a lot of people struggle with change, so hopefully people can relate to that. I am going to move the camera down here so that it's more stable. Hello. Yeah. So, I'll give an overview of what my mental health journey has been through my life. I kind of talked about it vaguely on the first video, but I think it's important to cover like a kind of a timeline, because the timeline and how it progressed resulted in certain lessons being learned at certain times and whatnot. I won't go into the details, but basically adolescence and high school was the first run through of it. Then I took a gap year after high school, did really well, found out what self-love was. Self-love is awesome. If you don't have it, definitely do whatever you can to love yourself. I don't really know where to go with that. I can't tell you how to love yourself. Everybody's got a different journey in order to love themselves, but I can tell you that it is worth everything, no matter what you have to go through in order to love yourself, no matter what you have to endure, no matter how long it takes. If you don't love yourself and you think you can't get to the other side, you can't endure more pain, you can't keep going to get to the other side where you do love yourself. First of all, you can, and second of all, it is more worth it than you can possibly imagine. It's amazing. There have definitely been days where I've taken it for granted after I started loving myself, but I try not to take it for granted because it's one of the most amazing things in the world. Didn't mean to go so deep on that, but basically that's what my gap year did for me. That was pretty awesome. Then I went into college and started off really well. These problems started coming back up, but basically the second time around, I kind of think of that as like the second phase of this happening, second phase of my depression or whatever. I'm still in the second phase. I consider the current day to be part of that. The second time around, I still struggled a lot, but a lot of what would happen is I would definitely be set back and terrified and somewhat scarred by each experience every single time that my depression took something away from me. But because of my love of myself and my faith in myself, my reaction was always, okay, this is where we're at. I'm going to start over. I'm going to push myself again, and I'm just going to get it done, whatever it is. If it's the next semester of college, if it is something related to ultimate frisbee, that's my main sport. I might talk about that in the future. It's a pretty big part of my life. If it was related to any of my goals, I just kind of mustered up strength and was like, okay, it's time to push myself. Can't feel sorry for the past, just press on into the future. That was my attitude, and the benefits of that attitude were good because it meant that I would never give up. That was the most important thing, if you can check that box of never giving up, that's definitely the most important box to check, because you can't give up. No matter what you're dealing with, no matter where life takes you, you can't give up. That's for sure. So my mentality back in college definitely helped me not to give up. But it also was kind of just like a straight-on approach, like ramming my head into the wall until the wall breaks kind of approach. And I didn't spend much time to really reflect or assess other ways of doing things, other maybe, treatments, or, stopping and pivoting and doing something else. I didn't take much time to assess that, because if I took time and really reconsidered what I was doing or doubted what I was doing, basically if I started to reassess things, I would interpret that as doubt, and I couldn't afford to doubt myself at that time. So I just head on into the wall over and over again, because I just could not afford that dip of doubting myself or reassessing things. Those are two different ways of looking at it, but it's the same action either way. And yeah, it's the head into the wall approach helped get me through years in terms of survival and somewhat functioning as well, but I didn't get too much done. I definitely failed a lot of classes and semesters, and ended up dropping out of college. Dropping out of college was definitely one of the first times where I was like, okay, definitely need to try a different approach. But after that, worked a couple jobs, and basically, to fast forward on the timeline, this past summer, I just got to a point where I was like, okay, this can't continue. I keep on trying a new thing, failing, getting disappointed in myself, questioning myself, starting over, regaining faith in myself, using that faith to push myself in a direction that may not be as useful as it could be, and then starting the cycle all over again. And each time the cycle repeated, it was harder and harder to gain faith in myself. If you try something, if you really believe that you're going to succeed at something and then you fail, that can have a pretty harmful effect on you, especially if it keeps happening over and over again. So that's basically what I was going through. So then this summer, I finally reached a breaking point and decided I needed help, first of all. And that's definitely an important decision to make. I'm sharing a lot in this video. I needed help. It's even tough for me to say right now, but it's true. Lots of people need help. When I was going through the process of realizing that, the process of reflecting, I think my way of finding out that I needed help was also going through a very bad time with very low functioning. And when I say low functioning, it can mean a lot of different things, but basically for me, it can vary, but at the worst times, low functioning to me is not getting out of bed for the majority of the day, maybe eating one meal a day, and it's probably Oreos or something like that. Going to the grocery store, shoplifting cookies and then eating cookies. That was the best thing that I did that day. I was like, whoa, I got myself to eat something cool. That's where I was at earlier in the summer. Got to a mental health program, which I won't go too into detail about just for the sake of the length of the video. And got a therapist after that, and have been slowly making progress since then. And progress has been tough. So now I want to talk about progress. We're 10 minutes into the video, finally got to the subject of the video. Who knows if I'll use this or not, whatever. 10 minutes in. Progress. Progress has always been tough for me. I was talking about that cycle earlier with restarting, grounding myself. This is after some random failure. Sometime I said I'm gonna do something, and then I didn't do it, and it's disappointing. And afterwards I ground myself, reestablish. Okay, I'm me. I'm here. I'm right now, and I want to do something else, a new thing that I decide to do. And first step is I need to have faith that I can even do it. There's a pretty hard step depending on where you're at. It was always a hard step for me, but each time I failed, it got very hard to even just say, okay, I'm capable of doing a thing. I decide, even getting a job, having faith that I can apply to jobs and get a job. It was hard restoring faith in my ability to do that. Where was I going with this? Right. Me struggling with progress has a lot to do with my faith that progress is possible. So many times in the past, because of this cycle type of thing that I'm talking about, I have made progress a lot of the times in the past and regressed a lot of times in the past. So it follows a pattern, and my brain notices that pattern, and every time I make progress now, all my brain wants to do is regress and be fearful again and doubt myself again, because that's familiar. That's what's familiar. There's some quote about this, I don't remember. We accept the pain that we know is familiar rather than accept the peace of something we don't know. Something like that. But you get the gist. Yeah, I've been struggling with it a lot. Struggling with it right now, even today, this morning. I've started meditating for 30 minutes each day. That helps a lot. But man, every time it comes down to a moment where I need to do something, get out of the apartment, I started DoorDash, every time I need to start DoorDash, every time I need to start a workout or even writing or recording for this YouTube channel, there's always a moment where I was like, okay, I scheduled this out, time to do the thing. There's such a strong desire to not do it because that's familiar, because I know in the past I've disappointed myself so many times. I know what that feels like. I know what that disappointment feels like. So I just want to feel it again, because I know if I do that, then I know what direction I'm going. I know that I'm going to a place that I've been before. If I were to not regress and just keep going up, I would be doing amazing. And that's terrifying because I've never been there before. I've never been to a place where I can just fully function, get up, do my morning routine, go straight to job or school, come home, do a couple chores, relax, and go to bed. Describing that as like a basic day that a lot of people have, I can't, I haven't been able to do that for most of my life. There have been a couple times where I've really pushed and succeeded and hadn't gotten there. And then as a result, I'm like, whoa, what's going on? This is uncomfortable. I can't stand this. Regress. Yeah. It's kind of funny. I can't accept that my life could be okay. I have a lot of trouble accepting that life can be okay. Life doesn't have to be hard all the time. I'm so used to life being hard that life being easy scares me. Why? So yeah, that's the main thing I wanted to talk about. Had a couple other talking points, wrote down a couple talking points. Actually, I think I hit most of them. But I guess I could talk about something that's helped me this time around with getting used to progress, getting comfortable with progress, getting used to progress, getting comfortable with progress, getting comfortable with the fact that I can do things. Something that's helped me do that is focusing on actions, focusing on routines. I don't need to think, for example, the meditation 30 minutes a day. I don't need to think about the effect that has on my life. I don't need to observe myself being a more meditative person. I don't need to be like, oh wow, I'm doing so great. All I need to do is check, hey, have I done the 30 minutes today? No. Okay, I can do the 30 minutes today, and I can still be afraid of progress. I'd still do those 30 minutes. I don't have to completely rewire my brain every single day. I just have to do those 30 minutes. I think that's the key, is not rewiring your brain every single day. You have actions and routines in place that help rewire your brain little by little. A small amount every single day. Now you just trust those actions. You trust the actions, routines, trust that over time things will fall into place. And I can take my time getting comfortable with it. I don't need to get comfortable with it all in one day. Ease into it. Take your time. Trust your actions and routines. Trust what you know is good for you. Yeah. All right. Signing off on my rant. Oh, also, a bunch of my friends thought that I did not write the definitions from the last video. Like when I mentioned that I wrote them, they were like, "What? You wrote them?" Yes, I wrote them. Yeah. Look, I am a very good poet. I'm a communicator. That's why I named my channel Communicator Joseph. I'm going to try to use poetry and other types of art to communicate thoughts, feelings, and stuff, because it is ultimately a better vessel than using regular words. There are feelings I cannot get across through regular sentences. That's why I use poetry. And yes, I am fucking good at poetry. Deal with it.